You're standing in an electronics store staring at two options. On one side, there's a sleek soundbar promising Dolby Atmos, wireless connectivity, and cinema-quality sound for $1,500. On the other side, there's a home theater system with separate speakers, a receiver, and cables everywhere for about the same price. The salesperson tells you the soundbar is easier, looks cleaner, and does everything the home theater does. But here's what they won't tell you. One of these options is a massive waste of money that'll leave you disappointed and out of pocket. And it's probably not the one you think. In 2026, the audio industry has reached a tipping point where the truth about soundbars versus real home theater systems can't be hidden anymore. The performance gap is shocking, the value proposition has flipped, and thousands of buyers are making expensive mistakes because they don't know the real differences. Before you waste your money on the wrong setup, hit that subscribe button and drop a like if you want honest audio advice that saves you cash. And tell me in the comments, which soundbar or speaker setup are you using right now, and what problems are you facing with it? Let's break this down. Understanding what you're actually buying. Let's start with the basics because most people don't actually understand what they're comparing. A soundbar is a single horizontal speaker cabinet that sits under or near your TV. Inside that cabinet are multiple small drivers arranged to create the illusion of surround sound. Modern soundbars can have configurations like 5.1.2 or even 11.1.4, which sounds impressive until you understand what those numbers mean. The first number is main channels, the second is subwoofers, and the third is height channels. But here's the trick. All those channels are crammed into one bar, firing sound in different directions, and hoping your room's acoustics bounce it around to create surround effects. Some soundbars add wireless rear speakers and a separate subwoofer, which helps, but the core concept remains the same. You're relying on virtual processing and room reflections to fake true surround sound. A home theater system takes a completely different approach. It uses separate speakers physically placed around your room. A basic 5.1 setup has 3 front speakers, 2 rear surrounds, and a subwoofer. Step up to 7.1.4 and you're adding more surrounds plus ceiling or upward firing height speakers. Each channel has its own dedicated speaker in a specific location, creating true directional audio where sounds actually come from where they should. When a helicopter flies from front to back, it's physically moving between speakers positioned around you, not being faked by software bouncing sound off walls. The difference in immersion is night and day, but home theaters require an AV receiver to power everything, cables running to each speaker, and time to set up and calibrate properly. On paper, soundbars seem like the obvious choice. One device, minimal wires, easy setup, done in 10 minutes. Home theaters look complicated with receivers, speaker wire, placement decisions, and calibration. But here's what that simplicity actually costs you: real audio quality. Because when you cram all those drivers into one cabinet and rely on acoustic tricks to create surround sound, you're fundamentally compromising what's possible. And in 2026, with home theater components getting cheaper and easier to set up, that compromise no longer makes sense for most buyers. The soundbar illusion. Let's talk about how soundbars actually work, because understanding this reveals why they struggle. The drivers inside a soundbar are tiny, often 2 to 3 inches in diameter. They have to be small because space is limited in that slim cabinet everyone wants under their TV. These small drivers are then angled and positioned to fire sound forward, sideways, and upward. The upward firing drivers bounce sound off your ceiling to create height effects for Dolby Atmos. The side firing drivers try to create width and surround presence. And digital processing analyzes the audio signal, delays certain frequencies, and adjust volumes to trick your brain into thinking sound is coming from locations where there are no actual speakers. In perfect conditions, this can work reasonably well. If you have a room with the right dimensions, a flat reflective ceiling at the correct height, minimal furniture absorbing sound, and you sit in exactly the right spot, soundbars can create a decent sense of space. But how many people have perfect rooms? Most living rooms have textured ceilings, couches, and curtains absorbing reflections, awkward shapes, and multiple seating positions. In these real-world environments, the illusion falls apart. The sound stays mostly locked to the front of the room. Height effects are subtle at best and often completely absent. And that $1,500 Atmos soundbar performs barely better than a $300 stereo bar because the room won't cooperate with the acoustic tricks. Take the Samsung HWQ990F, which is actually one of the best soundbars you can buy in 2026. It's an 11.1.4 system with wireless rear speakers and upward-firing drivers in both the main bar and the rears. Samsung has poured engineering into Eclipsa audio processing that's supposed to extend the soundstage beyond the physical speakers. And in Samsung's test room with perfect acoustics, it probably works great. But in normal homes, users report the height effects are noticeable but not dramatic. The soundstage is wider than cheaper bars, but still doesn't wrap around you. And despite costing $2,000, it doesn't create the full immersion of a true surround system. This is the best soundbar money can buy, and it still can't escape the fundamental limitations of its design. What home theater actually delivers. Now let's talk about what happens when you use separate speakers positioned around your room. A basic 5.1 home theater has a center speaker below your TV handling dialogue, left and right front speakers creating stereo width, 2 rear speakers placing sounds behind you, and a subwoofer delivering deep bass. When you watch a movie and someone walks from left to right, the sound physically moves between the front left and front right speakers. When a car drives past from front to back, it transitions from the front speakers to the rear speakers. Your brain doesn't have to interpret acoustic tricks or virtual processing because the sound is actually coming from those locations. The difference this makes for immersion is massive. In home theaters, you feel surrounded by audio in a way soundbars can never achieve. Ambient sounds like rain, crowd noise, or forced atmospheres wrap around you naturally. Action scenes place explosions and gunfire in specific locations that you can pinpoint. Quiet dialogue stays anchored to the center, while music and effects spread wide. And when you add height speakers for Atmos, those overhead effects are real because sound is physically coming from above, not bouncing off your ceiling, hoping to create the illusion of height. Bass is another area where home theaters dominate. Soundbar subwoofers are usually 8 to 10-inch drivers in compact boxes, optimized to look nice in living rooms. They provide adequate bass for most content, but lack the deep, visceral punch of dedicated home theater subs. A quality 12-inch or 15-inch subwoofer in a properly sized enclosure can reproduce frequencies down to 20 Hz or lower, creating room-shaking impact that you feel in your chest during explosions or music with deep bass. Movies become more immersive, music gains depth and weight, and everything feels more powerful. Soundbar subs simply can't compete with that level of output and extension because physics demands larger drivers and bigger boxes for truly deep bass. The setup reality check. Here's where soundbar advocates push back. Setup time. They'll say home theaters take hours to install with wires running everywhere while soundbars are plug and play. And that used to be true, but not anymore. In 2026, wireless home theater systems like the Sony HT-A9M2 eliminate most cabling by using wireless rear speakers. You still need speaker wire for the fronts, but modern slim cables can be hidden easily or run through walls with basic tools. AV receivers now include automatic calibration using a microphone that measures your room and adjusts settings automatically, just like soundbars do. The setup difference between a good soundbar system with wireless rears and a home theater system has shrunk to maybe an extra hour of work. And that hour pays off with dramatically better sound. The aesthetic argument also doesn't hold up like it used to. Yes, soundbars are cleaner looking with one bar and maybe a sub, but modern home theater speakers come in compact designs with wireless rears that aren't much more visible than soundbar satellites. And if you care about audio quality, having a few extra speakers around your room is a small price to pay for legitimate surround sound. The whole point of upgrading your TV's audio is to improve the experience, and prioritizing looks over performance defeats that purpose. It's like buying a sports car, but choosing the one with the slowest engine because it has prettier paint. You're missing the entire point. The price-performance trap. Now let's get to the money, because this is where soundbars really fall apart. Premium soundbars like the Sonos Arc Ultra cost around $1,000 for just the bar. Add Sonos' subwoofer for another $700 and surround speakers for another $400, and you're at $2,100 for a complete system. The Samsung HW-Q990F costs $2,000 as a package. The LG S95TR is around $1,500. These are serious investments that buyers justify by telling themselves they're getting cinema-quality audio. But here's the reality. For the same money or less, you can build a home theater system that absolutely destroys any soundbar in performance. A Danana VRX3800H receiver costs around $1,300 and powers up to 9 speakers with room correction and all the latest formats. Pair that with a Klipsch Reference 5.1 speaker package for $700, and you've got a $2,000 system that delivers true surround sound with dedicated channels, powerful dynamics, and bass that actually moves air. Or go budget with a Denon AVRS 760H receiver for $500 and budget speakers for another $300 to $400, giving you a complete 5.1 system for under $1,000 that still outperforms most soundbars costing twice as much. The performance difference isn't small, it's massive. Professional testing shows that mid-range home theater systems consistently score higher for immersion, dialogue clarity, and bass impact than flagship soundbars. A soundbar scoring 8.5 out of 10 is considered excellent. A home theater system with that same score delivers noticeably better surround separation, clearer dialogue, and deeper bass, because it has the hardware to actually reproduce sound properly instead of faking it. You're not paying extra for marginal improvements. You're getting fundamentally superior audio for similar or lower cost. That makes premium soundbars a terrible value proposition. Real-world performance comparison. Let's get specific with testing data from 2026 because numbers don't lie. The Samsung HW-Q990F, widely considered the best soundbar available, scores 8.5 for mixed usage. That's excellent for a soundbar. Music playback is detailed with good separation, movie effects are impactful with noticeable height, and dialogue stays clear. It's genuinely impressive technology squeezed into a compact package. But put it head-to-head against a Klipsch Reference 5.2 home theater system costing $1,000, and the home theater wins decisively. The Klipsch system delivers tighter bass with more impact, clearer center channel dialogue, more convincing rear surrounds that actually place sounds behind you, and a soundstage that wraps around the room instead of projecting from the front. The difference is immediately obvious even to casual listeners. Or compare the Sonos Arc Ultra at $1,000 to the Sony HT-A9M2 at $1,500. The Arc Ultra is a premium soundbar with excellent build quality and Sonos' refined ecosystem. It sounds good for what it is, with wide staging and clear dialogue. But the Sony HT-A9M2 is a wireless home theater system with 4 satellite speakers you position around your room. Despite using wireless connectivity like a soundbar, it creates true surround immersion because sound actually comes from 4 different locations. Atmos height effects are more convincing, ambient sounds wrap around you naturally, and the spatial separation makes movies significantly more engaging. For $500 more, you're getting a completely different league of performance. The pattern holds across every price point. Budget soundbars costing $300 to $500 deliver mediocre audio with weak bass and limited soundstage. Budget home theater packages in the same price range provide real surround sound with dedicated channels that transform the viewing experience. Mid-range soundbars at $800 to $1,200 promise premium features, but still struggle with true immersion. Mid-range home theater systems deliver flagship-level performance that's noticeably superior. And premium soundbars at $1,500 to $2,000 offer the best that soundbar technology can achieve, which is still fundamentally limited by physics, while home theater systems at that price point create reference-quality audio that rivals commercial cinemas. The upgrade path? Problem. Here's another issue soundbar buyers don't think about until it's too late. Future upgrades. When you buy a soundbar, you're locked into that manufacturer's ecosystem. If you want to add more speakers later, you're limited to whatever optional components that brand offers. Sonos lets you add their sub and surrounds. Samsung has rear speaker kits, but you can't mix brands, you can't upgrade individual components, and you're stuck with whatever design decisions the manufacturer made. If your soundbar subwoofer is weak, tough luck, you're living with it or buying a whole new system. Home theater systems are completely different. The AV receiver is separate from the speakers, so you can upgrade one without replacing the other. Start with a budget 5.1 system and later add better front speakers when you have more money. Upgrade to a larger subwoofer if you want more bass. Add height channels for Atmos when you're ready. Mix and match brands to get the best value or sound signature you prefer. The flexibility is unlimited, and you're not throwing away your entire investment every time you want to improve something. A quality AV receiver can last 10 years or more, powering multiple generations of speakers as you gradually build your dream system. This modularity means home theaters actually cost less long-term, even if the initial investment feels higher. Spend $1,000 on a soundbar now, and in 5 years when you want better sound, you're buying another soundbar and the first one becomes worthless. Spend $1,200 on a home theater system, and in 5 years you upgrade the front speakers for $400 while keeping the receiver and other components. Over a decade of ownership, the home theater approach saves money while continually improving, whereas soundbar buyers keep replacing entire systems. Who should actually buy soundbars? You might think I believe nobody should buy soundbars. That's not true. Soundbars make sense in specific situations. If you live in a small apartment where running speaker wires isn't possible, a soundbar is practical and sounds better than TV speakers. If you're renting and can't drill holes for mounting speakers, a soundbar's wireless design works perfectly. If you don't care much about audio quality and just want something slightly better than your TV for watching news and shows, a budget soundbar is fine. The problem is most people buying expensive soundbars don't fit these situations. They care about audio quality, own their homes, have rooms big enough for real surround sound, and are spending serious money because they want great audio. For these buyers, soundbars are the wrong choice. You're paying high prices for limited performance when real home theater systems cost the same or less and sound dramatically better. The convenience argument doesn't work because modern wireless systems are almost as easy to set up. The looks argument is weak because sound matters more than appearance. And the simplicity argument falls apart when receivers have automatic setup that's just as easy. If you're serious about audio, if you watch movies regularly, if you listen to music and care about quality, if you play games and want directional sound, or if you're spending more than $800, buy a home theater system. Don't let soundbar marketing fool you. You're getting a weak copy that'll leave you disappointed. The 2026 recommendations. If you're set on soundbars, at least get one that performs well. The Samsung HW-Q990F at $2,000 is the best with tight bass. The LG S95TR at $1,500 offers excellent audio with smart calibration. The Sonos Arc Ultra at $1,000 provides refined sound with multi-room capability. These are good soundbars, but they're still soundbars with built-in limitations. For home theater systems, the options are better. A Denana VR-X3800H receiver for $1,300 paired with Klipsch reference speakers gives you a powerful system with room to upgrade. On a budget, the Denon AVRS760H at $500 with Polk or Pioneer speakers delivers real surround sound for under $1,000 total. The Klipsch reference package at $1,000 offers 5 speakers and dual subwoofers with strong performance. For music lovers, brands like ILAC, KEF, and Q Acoustics offer excellent value in the $500 to $1,000 range. The honest truth. Here's the bottom line. Expensive soundbars are a waste of money for anyone who cares about sound quality. The convenience advantage is tiny in 2026 with wireless home theater options easily available. The looks advantage is overrated when performance matters more. And the price advantage doesn't exist when home theater systems cost the same or less while delivering much better audio. Soundbars survive on marketing, sleek designs, and buyers who don't know enough to make informed choices. The virtual surround processing that soundbars use can't compete with real speakers positioned around your room. Physics limits how well small drivers can perform. The best soundbar in the world still loses to a mid-range home theater system because actual speakers in correct positions beat virtual tricks every time. And when you factor in upgradability and value for money, home theater systems win clearly. If you're spending more than $800 on audio equipment, buying a soundbar is throwing money away. You're paying high prices for limited technology. That same money buys a real home theater system with true surround sound, powerful bass, clear dialogue, and room to grow. The setup takes maybe an hour longer, and that hour pays off every time you watch a movie, play a game, or listen to music. The debate comes down to priorities. If you want convenience above all else and don't care about audio quality, soundbars work fine. But if you're investing serious money because you want great sound, home theater systems are the only smart choice. The performance gap is too wide and the value too clear to ignore. In 2026, good receivers are affordable, wireless speakers eliminate cable problems, and automatic calibration makes setup simple. The excuses for choosing soundbars have disappeared, leaving only marketing hype and pretty packaging. Don't fall for the trap. Don't spend $1,000 to $2,000 on a soundbar that'll disappoint you when a home theater system costs the same and delivers the immersion you actually want. Do your research, understand what you're comparing, and make the smart choice. If this video saved you from an expensive mistake, hit that like button, subscribe for more honest audio breakdowns, and drop a comment below. Tell me what setup you're planning to build. And remember, great audio isn't about convenience or design. It's about actually sounding great. See you in the next one.